Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. We've discussed lately on this channel how Cartoon Network really doesn't have a lot of shows on the air, and there's really not that much coming, but unfortunately it seems that one of the shows that was supposed to be coming this year has since been pushed back into 2025, and that show is Iyanu Child of Wonder, which is supposed to be a Cartoon Network original series that is adapting a comic book of the same name. And I'm just kind of very confused by this show at this point, and very confused on the whole situation. So to go back in time a little bit, Iyanu Child of Wonder was announced all the way back on July 11th of 2022. It was given a 2023 release window, and at the time at which it was announced, I think a lot of people were intrigued and interested in the show. I know at least I was intrigued by it because it seemed like it was going to be a much more serious kind of action-oriented type series, which is something that Cartoon Network really hasn't had for a long time now. So for those reasons, I was intrigued by it. Then all of a sudden the news hit in 2023 that the show was being delayed till 2024, and I thought this wasn't obviously a great thing for the network, given that they don't really have anything on the channel. They don't really have any shows to air, so a new show that's coming that's anticipated being delayed by a year obviously isn't great for them. But now all of a sudden we're in 2024 and there's been no mention of the series thus far until now, when all of a sudden it's been given a 2025 release window. And I am at this point just very confused by Cartoon Network as a whole and this whole situation as a whole, because the series was announced back in July of 2022. Like I said, it was given that 2023 release window and then unfortunately gets delayed into 2024, which was rather disappointing to hear. Now all of a sudden it's getting delayed into 2025, and I'm just like, do you guys have your eggs in order? Do you guys know what you're doing over at Cartoon Network Studios? I know that there's a lot happening behind the scenes, and I'm sure that this isn't necessarily their fault. It's probably a much bigger issue at Warner Brothers Discovery. On the outside looking in, we can't really speak on that because we don't know exactly what's happening behind the scenes, but I just don't understand how you announce a series, give it a release window that's not that far away, 6 months in advance is 2023, so at some point that year, so you're looking at like 6 to 12, maybe 18 months until the series is coming out based on the time at which it was announced. Then all of a sudden you delay it into the following year, and it's like, okay, something came up, they had to delay it to 2024. Then all of a sudden in 2024 you delay it once again. It's just like, what is going on at Cartoon Network? What is happening there that you announce a series to come out over the next 12 to 18 months, and then all of a sudden 3 years later that show is still not going to be out? I just don't understand what is going on. And unfortunately what ends up happening, what ends up coming out of this, is Iyanu Child of Wonder is going to end up taking a hit for this. In all honesty, as unfortunate as that is, that's going to be what happens here. Because look, for someone like me who wasn't super invested in this show when it was announced, someone who had, a little inkling of interest but wasn't really clamoring to see it come out, I genuinely don't really care about this show anymore. Quite frankly, I don't even think I'm going to check it out when it comes out, because I wasn't that interested to begin with, but was like, you know what, this is something that Cartoon Network really needs. Maybe I'll check it out because I'm a big fan of action-oriented animation, so maybe I'll see what this show's about. But at this point, it's been almost 2 years since the initial announcement happened, and the show's still not out. It was supposed to be out 2 years ago or a year ago, and now it's coming out in another year, if that even happens at this point, because who's to say that next year in 2025 they don't all of a sudden delay it till 2026? It just sets such a bad precedent for shows on Cartoon Network when they do this. And this is not something new that they've never done before. This is unfortunately something that they have done time and time again to multiple series. Like, for example, do you guys remember when We Baby Bears was announced to be premiering in August of 2021, and then about 2 or 3 weeks after they made that announcement, they then announced that it wasn't coming until January 1st of 2023? And to me, that just shows a level of disorganization within your network. How do you announce something and then 2-3 weeks later just completely flip the switch and say, no, it's not coming actually in a month from now, it's going to come 6 months from now instead? I just don't understand what is happening at Cartoon Network. I really just don't know what is going on there. They really need to get their ducks in a row, because right now, from the outside looking in, it just seems like you don't know what's going on, and it just comes off as the company being a complete and utter mess. Again, it's very unfortunate because I feel like what's going to end up happening is this show's going to take a hit for this. It's the same thing with the Total Drama Island revival. We had that show come out in April of 2023 in Italy, and it's going to come out in June of 2024 in America. The second season's already out in Canada. You can watch the show illegally online for the past year and a half. Like, who's going to watch this show at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning mornings. And the problem being with that is, number one, the ratings are going to be down and Cartoon Network's not going to like that. And number two, if the ratings are down, that means the show's going to get canceled and it's not going to get a third season. And I believe the person who voices Chris McLean on this new revival series actually said as much on Twitter. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but it was something to the extent of, depending on how this show's on Cartoon Network is going to basically dictate whether or not we're going to get renewed again. And you're setting this show up to fail, so I could tell you right now, chances are that this show is not going to get renewed again because you guys aired it over a year and a half ago in other countries and for whatever reason just delayed the release in the US. It's just a shame to see what is happening with Cartoon Network and how they've really just mishandled all of their series. Like, if we look at Cartoon Network in the mid-2010s, I remember complaining a lot, especially on this channel when I started it, about how they really mishandled the airing of Steven Universe's new episodes. They really mishandled the airing of Adventure Time's finale. They mishandled regular show as well. They mishandled all of these series. I could go on and on. I mean, look at The Amazing World of Gumball. It hasn't had an episode in 5 years. Look at Mile Mile Heroes of Pure Heart. That show never came back even though they announced a second season. Look what happened to Elliot from Earth after its cliffhanger in the middle of the first season. It just never came back. Look at what happened to Infinity Train after book 4. It never came back for book 5, 6, 7, and 8. They've done this time and time again, and unfortunately it's just getting worse and worse with every year that passes. The latest victim's going to be Iyanu Child of Wonder after Total Drama Island. It's just like, if you don't have shows that are going to be a hit because you're basically setting them up to fail from the get-go, then how is your network going to survive? How is your network going to get viewers? How is your network going to make new series if you're not making money on the series that you currently have? You're going to lose funding then. You won't be able to fund the next Adventure Time. You won't be able to fund the next Ben 10, the next regular show, the next Amazing World of Gumball, because your current series are being mishandled so poorly that you just don't have the money to put into new shows. It's just a complete and utter mess. It's really sad to see, especially to a brand that I do care about a lot, and I just wish that someone would wake up and say, hey, we're doing a really bad job here and we really gotta get our stuff together, because if we don't, I don't know if this brand's gonna exist in 5 to 10 years. And it's such a sad thing to even be saying that, because Cartoon Network was literally the peak of animation in the 2000s, and it's really fallen far since then, and it's very sad to say. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the newest delay in Iyanu Child of Wonder, going from coming out in 2023 to 2024 to now, fingers crossed, 2025, if it doesn't even get delayed into 2026? What do you think about the current state of Cartoon Network as a whole and the state of their shows as well, given that they've mistreated so many shows over the past few years? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.